Adrian had fallen for a college girl. He forced the divorce. Luna, she doesn't care about my money, she just wants the title. I have to give it to her. From high school uniforms to a wedding gown, we'd been in love for 7 years. I married him when he was flat broke. Now that he's made it, he complains I'm not young or pretty like some teen ingenue. He says the sight of me drags him back to the days we couldn't afford food or rent, that I'm the stain on his glittering success. Unlike that co-ed who worships him with starry eyes and gives him a fresh thrill every night. Later he got the divorce he wanted, and immediately regretted it. Before we go on, subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. The day Adrian and I signed the papers, I met Chloe for the first time on the steps of City. Barely 20, bright and bubbling. When she smiled she looked exactly like I did in college. Seeing us exit, she bounded into Adrian's arms like a happy bunny and linked her arm through his. Adrian steadied her, nervous. Don't be crazy, watch the baby. She stuck out her tongue, laughing. He gave in and pinched her collagen plump cheek. Chloe pretended to notice me only then, shyly pulling his hand away. Stop it, we have company. Freshly divorced, Adrian dropped the pretense, Chloe's pregnant. We're heading straight back in to get our license. I glanced at her belly, crushed the decree tighter, said nothing. Chloe hurriedly dug a pack of wedding candy from her purse and pressed it into my hand, beaming, this is the very first pack we're giving out. Have some good luck, sis. I really hope you find happiness soon. She hugged Adrian's arm and thanked me. Also thanks for training Hung so well, he's sweet and thoughtful. I'll treasure him. If you don't mind, let's swap WhatsApp. It's my first pregnancy and I'm clueless, I'd love your advice. Adrian tried to stop her, he didn't want us connected. I added her on the spot just to spite him. Later. He texted a warning, Luna, direct your anger at me. Chloe's innocent, she's pregnant, don't hurt her. I walked off, leaving the two of them behind me. Adrian and I had loved each other 7 years. At our poorest we lived on stale bagels for 2 months and slept in the train station when we couldn't make rent. Those were the years we loved hardest. After Caldwell took off, the yes men swarmed and Adrian lost his grip. At every board meeting my objections, however right, felt to him like public slaps. Because I'd seen him at rock bottom, he erased every credit, claiming I looked down on him. The rift grew. Then came the night he staggered home drunk after client drinks, yanked my nightgown off, pinned me to the mattress. We hadn't touched in ages. His heat melted me fast. But just as I teetered on the edge he clutched me and groaned, Chloe. My blood froze, a sledgehammer shattered my heart. Adrian went cold. He rolled off and sat with his back to me. No light, only black. The silence smothered us. I stared at the ceiling while tears slipped sideways. Luna. After grinding out a last cigarette he said, let's divorce. I'm sick of your stretch marks, the hair all over the pillow, that perfume, same bottle for years. I'm nauseous. He laid it bare, touching you feels like touching myself. She's new, exciting. I'm done settling. Name your price, just set us free. That night Adrian moved out. I screamed, sobbed, fought. Useless. His mind was steel, he would dump Nina and me. The one scrap of conscience left. Nina was only 3.5, so we lied that dad had taken a job far away. Yet less than 6 months after the divorce Nina kept begging for daddy, insisting he come home. That evening Nina sneaked my phone again and video called Adrian. She chirped daddy, the instant it connected. Chloe answered. She greeted my daughter brightly, hi, Nina. Nina's face went icy. Who are you and why do you have my daddy's phone? Chloe giggled. I'm your daddy's, Nina. I cut her off. I snatched the phone and ended the call, Nina wailed in fright. I knelt, hugging her, sorry and aching. I'm sorry, baby, mommy scared you. I apologize. She cried half the night. Finally she fell asleep in my arms, fingers clamped to my blouse as if I might vanish. I studied her little face, too heartsick to sleep. When I opened my phone Chloe's newest Instagram popped up, song, happy 1-year anniversary. Thanks for your pampering and love. I'm blissful, waiting for our family of 3. Kisses. I tapped the photo. Adrian held Chloe's hand, her ring finger sported a rock the size of a dove's egg. We'd had moments that sweet once. The day Caldwell landed its first contract he dragged me to the jeweler, dead set on buying me a monster diamond. I couldn't bear the price, so we settled for a modest quarter-carat chip. Outside the mall I lifted that hand to the morning sun and watched light dance through the tiny stone. It still sparkled. Adrian clasped my hands and vowed, Nyen Nyen, I'll give you the good life, you'll never regret choosing me. But Adrian, you broke that promise. For next morning the whole of Caldwell gossiped about how many carats Chloe's rock weighed. Wherever I walked eyes stabbed me. My best friend cornered me in the break room, fuming that Chloe had no shame. You should have made Adrian walk away with nothing and snatched Caldwell while you were at it. I stirred my coffee, calm. Adrian isn't stupid, he handed me the house, cars, savings, full custody. Caldwell stays with him, otherwise how will he bankroll Chloe? But do you hear what they're saying? That you won't leave because you're still scheming to win him back. Through the glass I watched cubicles drop their heads the instant I looked. They're half right. I'm not resigned. I starved with Adrian, Chloe waltzes in for the harvest. Her child keeps a father while mine is labeled fatherless. But I don't want that cheater, I want the thing he's proudest of, Caldwell. And I'll paw. Why any cost? 5 that afternoon I carried a stack of contracts for Adrian to sign. When he finished he said, Luna, sorry about last night's call. Chloe was thoughtless. Is Nina okay? I hugged the folders. She's fine. Maybe guilt had cooled him. Post-divorce Adrian treated me politely, no more barbs. His gaze traced the black sheath that showed my new waistline. You've slimmed, the dress looks killer. 2 months of non-stop workouts were paying off. Meanwhile Chloe's belly swelled and her waist disappeared. Adrian sniffed. New perfume? I shrugged. A friend thought it suited me. His pupils flickered. Male friend? I let the question hang. Turning, I smiled wider. 6 weekend was Adrian's custody day. Nina bounced into her Elsa costume, thrilled for the amusement park date Adrian had promised. He texted, something came up, can't make it. Nina wailed until midnight, then burned with fever. I drove her to the ER alone. We ran into Adrian. He said Chloe felt ill and was here too. While I held Nina through her second 4-bag Adrian approached. For the first time since the split he muttered, Luna, I'm sorry, this is rough on you. Staring at Nina's sleeping face I forced the tears back. You're apologizing to the wrong person. She waited all week, you bailed. He crouched, reached to stroke her cheek. Nina flinched and burrowed into me. His hand hovered, then fell. He asked, have you eaten? I shook my head. His phone rang, Chloe. I couldn't hear her, but his face darkened. Take a nap. When I finish here I'll come back, okay? Funny, when I'd begged him to come home he used the same work excuse. Except then his tone was venom. After he hung up he gave an awkward smile. Chloe used to be easygoing, pregnancies made her clingy. Don't mind her. Let me grab you food. Skip it. She's carrying your child, go. We're fine. My generosity sharpened his guilt, remorse swam in his eyes. Luna, you've changed. I smiled. When you lose your harbor, you learn to sail. His fists clenched, he looked away. Luna. A voice behind him called. Adrian turned. A guy in a white coat stood holding takeout boxes. 7 The doctor was Ethan, 3 years younger than me, a resident here. He'd lived next door with his grandma when we were kids. We lost touch after his folks moved overseas. 3 months ago he'd resurfaced. Tonight the public ER line was endless and Nina's fever spiked, so I texted him. Meeting Adrian was coincidence. Ethan stepped past Adrian, concern bare in his voice. I hit 3 diners for the beef dumplings, eat them hot. Seeing my arms full, he lifted a dumpling to my mouth. Adrian's eyes chilled. You work here? Ethan answered lazily, technically the whole hospital belongs to my family. True, his dad is majority owner. Adrian glanced from me to Ethan. So you too? Ethan's brow arched. Obvious, no? Ex-hubby. The label slapped color from Adrian's face. When Chloe rang again he left. Once he vanished I hissed, next time dial the drama down. I almost dropped the act. He popped another dumpling into my mouth. Practice makes perfect. 8 week later Nina was fully recovered. I returned to Caldwell and filed my leave form. That evening I met Adrian in the elevator. Coworkers scattered, soon only we remained. Watching the floor numbers descend he asked, was that your boyfriend at the hospital? The door slid open. I slung my purse over my shoulder. This doesn't seem to be any of Adrian's business. With that, I stepped out of the elevator. Adrian hurried after me. But whoever you date affects my daughter directly. I can't have her calling some random guy dad. I stopped dead, wheeled around. Funny, when you cheated, did you think about our daughter? When you shoved divorce papers at me so you could have Chloe, did it ever cross your mind I might find another man? Adrian's mouth opened, then closed, no sound. Passers-by were already staring. Luna. Ethan showed up like the cavalry, perfect timing. He walked over, slid an arm around my shoulders like we'd done this 1,000 times, and cooed, I've been waiting forever, babe. Starving to death here. He tapped the face of his watch and asked Adrian, "It's officially after hours, can I steal her now?" Adrian's jaw locked so tight I could practically hear enamel crack. Ethan's grin could win a gold medal in smugness as he steered me away, nice and slow, right under Adrian's nose. 9 Ethan had really come to drop off my mom's latest physical exam report. Running into me and Adrian mid-shouting match was coincidence, rescuing me, a bonus. Still, he demanded payment in the form of dinner. Traffic was a parking lot. Bored, he glanced over. "So, what's the plan? Solo for life?" I lifted one shoulder. "No plan. I'll wing it." "And you? You're no spring chicken, no steady girlfriend?" He jerked his chin at me, trouble dancing in his eyes. "I'm on one right now, with you." I rolled my eyes so hard I feared they'd stick. "Please. A trust fund prince like you? I can't afford the upkeep. Caldwell has a few nice girls, I'll set you up." A lazy smile curved his mouth. "Deal." 10 dinner rush, every decent restaurant quoted an hour minimum. We were one party away from being seated when my director called. "Luna, the financial report you filed has errors. Caldwell's exec meeting is tomorrow, get back here and fix it tonight." Only when I reached the office did I realize it was Adrian's doing, every floor dark except the glow spilling from his corner suite. The director waved me in. "Take your laptop to Adrian's office, finish there and show him directly." 10:30 p.m. I sat on Adrian's leather sofa, laptop balanced on my knees, massaging the numbers while the city glittered behind me like a million judgmental eyes. Adrian kept silent behind his desk until he couldn't. "That guy's wrong for you." My fingers paused over the keyboard. "Basis? He's too young. Chloe's younger. Men and women are different." "How?" "Same anatomy, same mattress cardio." I flashed a smile. "Youth equals stam. Ina, better ride." What's not to like? The document in Adrian's grip crumpled like tinfoil. His eyes looked sharp enough to slice glass. "You've slept with him?" I closed the laptop. "Reports in your inbox. Good night." I stepped into the corridor and spotted a bubblegum pink jacket whisking around the corner. Chloe. I'd seen that coat on her Instagram. Which meant, she'd heard every word. 12 Nina's birthday arrived. She'd FaceTimed Adrian every day begging for a Disney cake. So, first thing this morning he showed up balancing that exact cake plus shopping bags of presents. I was stir-frying lunch in the kitchen while the two of them clicked Legos together in the living room. Nina hadn't laughed this hard in months. At the table she pressed her tiny palms together, wished with all her might, and blew out the candle. "Mommy, guess what I wished for?" She tugged my hand. I pretended to ponder. "Elsa shoes?" She shook her head, grabbed both me and Adrian, and squashed our hands together. "I wished Mommy and Daddy could stay with me forever and ever." My throat burned. The smile on Adrian's face froze. She sliced the cake into 3, one for each of us, and dug in, cheeks clown white with frosting. Then her whole face twisted, a rasping cough tore out of her. "Nina." I scooped her up as she clawed at her cheeks, neck, arms. "Mommy, it itches, help." Wheezing sobs, exactly like the first time she tasted peanut. I zeroed in on the cake and screamed, "You know she's deathly allergic. Why buy anything with peanuts?" Adrian was already pale. "Chloe ordered it." I didn't know." "Chloe." Again. In that second I could have murdered them both. 13 Anaphylactic shock. Doctors rushed Nina to the OR while I paced the corridor like a trapped wolf. Chloe appeared, eyes red, voice wobbling, and flung herself at Adrian. "I didn't know, honey, I swear." "I'm so sorry." He stroked her hair. "Shoo, it's not your fault." I knew better. She'd seen Adrian and me working late, stewed in jealousy, and struck B. Act through a 4-year-old. I yanked her out of his arms and slapped her so hard the crack echoed down the hallway. "If anything happens to Nina, you and the parasite you're carrying will pay together." Chloe stood frozen, cheek blooming crimson. "I've already called the cops," I said, lifting my phone. "Tell them it was an accident." Adrian gaped, then shoved me backward. "Have you lost your damn mind?" She was trying to be nice. How could she possibly know about Nina's allergy? Nice? I stared at Chloe cowering behind him, lips twitching upward even as tears streaked her face. She wasn't worried, she knew there was no proof. 14 The door slid open. Nina, groggy but breathing, was wheeled out. "She's stable," the doctor said. "Another 5 minutes and we'd be having a different conversation. Don't gamble with your child's life again." I thanked him and followed the gurney, brushing past Adrian. He tried to come, Chloe clutched her belly and whimpered in pain. He chose her, escorting her downstairs while the elevator doors cut them from my sight. I squeezed Nina's tiny fingers. Baby, mommy will make them pay. 15 Nina recuperated slowly. Chloe spent one courtesy hour at the precinct and walked out unscathed. I used the downtime to blueprint every next step. The moment Nina was strong enough, I bought a wrapped maternity hospital care package and headed to Adrian's office. He looked shocked, my first voluntary appearance in weeks. I've thought it over, I said, setting the gift on his desk. I lost control. Please give this to Chloe with my apology. He studied my face. You mean that? I smiled. She's about to be a mom, of course she wouldn't hurt Nina. I was hysterical. I extended the olive branch further. Nina misses her dad. Free tonight? Come over for dinner? He brightened like a schoolboy. Absolutely. 16 sitting in his car for the first time since the divorce felt like time travel. I took the back seat, the passenger seat carried a perfume I never wanted to smell again. Still the same SUV from Nina's birth year, I mused, fingering a faded window decal. 4 years, gone in a blink. Adrian caught my gaze in the rearview. Remember her infant seat back here? She cried nonstop unless we sang that Wheels on the Bus song. I laughed softly. And she always threw up after the second verse. Nostalgia hung thick, bittersweet. We turned onto our old street, the corner bakery's line still stretched to the curb. Everything looked identical, except us. 17 Nina squealed and leapt into Adrian's arms. My mom, on the other hand, eyeballed him like he smelled of roadkill. While Adrian and Nina built a magnetic tile castle, Mom dragged me onto the balcony. You planning to take that cheater back? I snorted. I'd bathe in bleach first. Then why invite him? I propped my elbows on the railing, watching father and daughter inside. An eye for an eye, Mom. Watch. 18 after Grandma left and the cartoons ended, I knelt to tuck Nina in. Playtime's over, princess. Sleep now, more daddy tomorrow. She nodded obediently. As I rose, dizziness washed over me. Adrian caught my elbow. Nina piped up, earnest. Daddy, mommy's sick. She takes yucky medicine and cries at night. Stay and take care of us? His face softened. Okay, sweetheart. While Adrian warmed milk, Nina gave me a covert thumbs up. Did I do good, mommy? I tapped her nose. Perfect actress. She fell asleep clutching Adrian's finger. He dozed off against the headboard. I stood in the doorway and snapped a photo, just their interlocked hands, framed by dim nightlight. I posted it on Instagram, Nina's happiest night in ages. Within minutes Adrian's phone vibrated him awake. Chloe. He kissed Nina goodbye and slipped out. Phase 1, complete. 2 weeks later Caldwell attended the annual spring gala hosted by our European supplier. Adrian needed me on his arm. Many overseas partners still thought we were Riverdale's golden couple. Predictable. Rooftop garden, twinkling lights, ice buckets of cha. Pain, a string quartet smoothing the air. Colleagues raised glasses. Mr. and Caldwell, still picture perfect. We smiled, clinked, kept the illusion alive. When the crowd thinned, Adrian lifted his flute. That burgundy gown matches your eyes. Beautiful. Thank you. Why say yes tonight? I thought you'd refuse. Because I'm playing the long game, idiot. Aloud, Caldwell is as much my baby as Nina. I won't let marital baggage dent its stock price. And honestly? Your alimony buys a lot of gowns. Adrian laughed at my joke. Maybe the wine had loosened him up, because he was suddenly looking at me with something softer than nostalgia. Luna, you know what? Tonight's the happiest I've felt in weeks. I played dumb. Trouble with Chloe? He gave a helpless shrug. Sort of. I offered the kind of advice a caring ex-wife would. Pregnancy is brutal, she's 8 months now, right? When I was carrying Nina, my hips ached so badly I couldn't sleep, and the hormones turned me into a monster. Be patient with her, once the baby's here, things calm down. He zeroed in on the part I'd hoped he'd miss. You couldn't sleep? You never told me. I let my voice go velvet. Caldwell was in the fight of its life, you were skipping meals. I didn't want to pile on. A night breeze slipped across the terrace and I sneezed. Adrian had his jacket off and around my shoulders before the next chill hit. If Chloe were half as considerate as you, he muttered. The air between us went thick and blurry. My brows pinched in revulsion for a heartbeat, then relaxed. Salvation came from the photographer, group photo, everyone, this way. 1/2 the city's influencers were here. I knew the PR team would plaster the shot all over Instagram before midnight. So I kept Adrian's blazer on my shoulders, tucked my hand through his arm, lifted my champagne, and smiled like I still had his last name. The post detonated, shares, heart emojis, stan accounts screaming for their faves, and rode the algorithm straight to the trending tab. Chloe would see it. Mission accomplished, I wanted out. My cheek muscles were spasming from the performance. I invented an early morning budget meeting and left. Adrian tried to walk me to my car, I politely killed the idea. 22 Adrian's client dinner added another bottle of sake to the tally. The chauffeur hauled him in at almost midnight and dumped him on the living room sofa. Chloe, belly first, thanked the driver and locked the door. When she waddled back, Adrian was hugging the wastebasket, retching. She didn't rub his back, she loomed. Who were you with tonight? He answered the porcelain gods, not her, then flopped backward, head pounding. She shook his shoulder. Adrian, wake up. Who'd you drink with? He batted her away. Luna, my stomach's on fire, make me some hangover soup. The name detonated like a grenade. She stormed to the bathroom, filled the basin with cold water, and dumped it over his head. He shot upright, gasping. She hurled the basin aside. You were with Luna. You called me by her name. Fists drummed his chest. You've been moaning her name in your sleep for weeks. I'm 8 months pregnant, and this is how you treat me? Sober enough to fear a viral meltdown, he reached for damage control. Hey, I was drunk, none of it counts. Let's get you upstairs, okay? I'll shower and join you. But Chloe had already scrolled through the trending photo, his tuxedo jacket draped over my shoulders, my hand on his forearm, the grin. She sobbed so hard her whole frame shook. Adrian, admit it, you wish you'd never divorced her. Silence. Then the crack. Yes, he exploded. If she were here, she'd shut up and cook the damn soup instead of screaming at 2 a.m. She'd let me sleep, not send me out for watermelon at 3 because the baby wants it. I married you. I bankrolled this life. What else do you want? Blood? Chloe's mouth opened, but no sound came. He grabbed his keys. I'm crashing somewhere else. Cool off. The door slammed, a first. 23 at TW. 0 a.m. The sky split open, rain hammered the windows. I padded downstairs for water and almost screamed. Adrian sat on my sofa, soaked, hair plastered to his forehead. I fought with Chloe, he said, voice raw. No place to go. Thought I'd check on you and Nina. He spotted the spare on the console. Still keep the key under the second shelf? It was Mom's spare, she never remembers hers. I kept the perfect hostess mask in place. I'll heat you some ginger tea. 24 He drank like a refugee, cupping the hot mug with both hands. Tastes like the old days, nobody makes it like you. I reached for the empty bowl, he caught my wrist. Luna. I waited. I screwed up, he whispered. If I could rewind, I'd never sign those papers. I slid my hand free. That ring on your finger says the ship has sailed. Regret is cheap, Adrian. He trapped my wrist again. What if I take it off? Give us another shot? I detached myself, calm as closing a ledger. I don't deal in hypotheticals. I wasn't letting him stay, until I saw Chloe's red Audi idling across the street. Change of plan. I put him in the guest room and closed the door. Let her imagination do the heavy lifting. 25 Next morning the doorbell rang at 8. Ethan, back from his conference with croissants and orange juice, leaned in my doorway grinning. You look like you've seen a ghost. Before I could answer, Adrian appeared behind me, shirt untucked. Who's here? They sized each other up like rival tomcats. Ethan brushed my ear. So the ghost's real. Ethan. Nina thundered down the stairs and catapulted into his arms. He hoisted her, producing a teddy bear from the grocery bag. Got a trunk full of toys. Breakfast first, then loot. Adrian's complexion turned concrete. The breakfast hour stretched like taffy. Ethan buttered my croissant and apologized to Adrian, without a hint of sorry, for bringing only 3 portions. Adrian sipped tap water, jaw flexing. A call from his secretary rescued him. He tried to kiss Nina goodbye but got an absent-minded air kiss while she stacked blocks with Ethan. He left frosty. 26 Noon I was slicing veggies when Ethan slipped in. He drained a bottle of water, leaned a hip against the counter. What's the end game, Luna? I rinsed scallions. Maybe I want my husband back. Bull. He knew the wound my father's affair had left, no chance I'd recycle a cheater. When I told him about the peanut cake incident on Nina's birthday, his smile vanished. I'll cover you, he said, voice low. Whatever you need. 27 Quarter end hit like a hurricane. By Monday the finance floor looked like a war zone of printouts and Red Bull cans. At 10:30 the night before the board meeting, only the CFO, the cashier, and I were left. The Caldwell espresso machine was DOA, so I ordered delivery. I snapped a steamy latte pic and posted, grinding after hours, THX for the fuel, Babe Redheart. Chloe would assume Adrian hand-delivered it. Half an hour later I volunteered to run the financial report upstairs. Adrian looked up, surprised. You're still here? Instead of standing across the desk, I slid beside him, close enough to share the same breath, and laid the folder down along with a box of antacids. Luna, he murmured, switch back to your old perfume. This new stuff isn't you. Funny, he'd called the old scent nauseating once. His fingers brushed my cheek. Perfect timing, door bang. Chloe stood in the threshold, mascara already running. Adrian and I both turned toward the door at the same time. There stood Chloe, hair flying everywhere, staring at us with a face so twisted it was scary. Her eyes were blood red with rage. Without a word she waddled in, belly first. She snatched the glass off the desk and flung the water straight into my face. I could have ducked. I purposely didn't. Adrian shot up from his chair and stepped between us. Chloe, what the hell? Jealousy had her shaking. She pointed a trembling finger at me. Midnight, just the two of you, what exactly are you doing in here? He pointed at the scattered financial reports. Working, obviously. Working? Huh. Work means you have to sit that close? Means you have to stroke her face? You think I'm 3 years old, Adrian? She was shrieking now. You haven't come home in days, you won't pick up my calls, it's all because of her. I played the helpless little thing behind his back, slowly dabbing my face with a tissue while I enjoyed the dogfight. The second he glanced at me I squeezed out 2 pitiful tears. Adrian, I'd better go. I scurried out like a wounded animal. Chloe lunged to grab me. Adrian yanked her back. Once the door shut behind me I heard him lay into her, can't you just behave for once? Use your brain, stop humiliating me. Have you thought what it does to me if someone at Caldwell sees this circus? What would people say? Chloe gave a cold laugh. If you're scared of rumors, don't do the dirty. You still afraid of shame? Adrian lost it completely, words tumbling out unchecked. The most shameful thing I've ever done is marry you. If I'd known how insane you are I never would have divorced Luna. Through the door I listened to them tear each other apart, thrilled. That splash of water was the best bargain ever. 28 Adrian caught up with me outside the building. Hard to get a cab this late, let me drive you. I pretended to play peacemaker. Forget it, go back and explain things so she doesn't get the wrong idea. He stuffed me into the passenger seat anyway. I said forget her. The door slammed like a gunshot. The engine purred and we rolled away. In the mirror I watched Chloe run out, huge belly and all, hurling one shoe after the car like a fishwife, nothing left of the delicate flower she used to play. I pretended to sleep the whole ride so I wouldn't have to talk. When we reached my place he gently woke me. I opened my eyes, thanked him, and reached for the handle. He caught my wrist. Luna, I'm sorry about tonight, sorry Chloe did that. I smiled. It's fine. She only acted out because she loves you, I get it. His face crumpled. Luna, I just realized you're the only person who ever truly cared. Back when we were together you ironed my shirts and suits, laid out my clothes, cooked everything I loved, brewed hangover soup when I drank too much, stayed up nursing me when I was sick, our life ran like clockwork. But Chloe, all she does is pout. My shirts are wrinkled, she never cooks, never makes me soup, my life's a mess. He folded his arms on the steering wheel and let his forehead drop, defeated. Nina, I really regret it. To him that confession was earth-shaking. To me it was vomit-inducing. He wasn't sorry he loved me, he was sorry his comfort zone had collapsed. If Chloe were a perfect wife he wouldn't remember I existed. I pushed the knife a little deeper. But Adrian, you're married now. You're not going to divorce her for me, are you? It's late. I have to go. I jumped out before he could answer and hurried inside without looking back. 29 I don't know what Adrian did when he got home, but 3 days later Chloe took the bait. She asked to meet, picked a coffee shop, and dropped the act the second I sat down. Cut the crap, what do you want? I sipped my coffee, innocent. I'm sorry? Her eyes were cannons. You want Adrian to divorce me, don't you? You're smarter than you look. I steered her where I needed her to go. You brought this on yourself, Chloe. You should never have touched my Nina. Don't tell me that peanut cake was an accident. Her fists clenched in her lap. Fine, I did it on purpose. I worked my ass off to marry Adrian for his money. If he'd devoted himself to me I could live with it, but he keeps mooning over you, of course I don't feel safe. I figured if Nina were out of the picture you'd lose your leash on him. And let's be honest, Nina's his legal heir. Why should you two get a penny of what should be my son's? When you divorced he gave you the house, the cars, the savings. You're just greedy, Luna, don't blame me for fightin'. Back. Our gazes locked like blades throwing sparks. She warned me, whatever you try, I won't divorce him. I'm here to tell you you're wasting your time. Smug now, she added, I'll let you in on a secret, I'm carrying a boy. Once my son is born, you and your daughter are nothing. Adrian wants a male heir, he'll never dump us. Mother by son, get it? His heart and his money, neither is yours. I slipped my hand into my coat pocket, fingers curling around the voice recorder, and smiled. Game on, Chloe. I walked out, then doubled back. I snatched the orange juice off her table and poured it over her head. Returned in full. I left her screaming curses at my back. Dirty word was Chloe's water broke 10 minutes after she stalked out of the cafe. She collapsed on the sidewalk and some good Samaritan rang 911. She delivered early. The longed-for son turned out to be a daughter. She grabbed the doctor and nurses, shrieking, my ultrasound said boy, did you swap my baby? Give me my son. Adrian found her hysterics so revolting he stayed away the whole month. Every time he dropped by she threw tantrums or sobbed doom, he couldn't take it. I decided the moment was ripe. A man of Adrian's stature could dispose of her far faster than I could. So when he came begging to move back in with me, I laid my cards out. 31 We sat on my living room sofa. I placed the recorder between us and played the cleaned up audio. By the end Adrian was livid. That lying bitch. She swore she didn't care about my money, she only wanted us to be legitimate. And she tried to kill Nina. While he was still roaring I handed him the paternity test. Chloe's daughter and Adrian shared 0 DNA. I'd bribed the night nurse for a lock of the baby's hair and rushed the test. His face went volcanic, I thought the paper might catch fire. He stormed out without a word. 32 He moved faster than I expected. He slapped Chloe with the test and demanded a divorce. When she refused he took her to court and forced it through. He tracked down the bakery clerk, added my recording, and pressed charges for attempted murder on Nina. The court found her guilty of aggravated assault. 3-year prison sentence. The day the ink dried on the divorce decree he raced over to me. Halfway here a cloudburst hit, he ran a red, rammed a semi. They pulled him out alive, just long enough for the hospital to call me. I walked into the ICU untouched by pity. Adrian, I'm here to clear the slate. I never planned to remarry you. Everything I did was to reclaim what was mine. You earned every inch of this ending. His fingers shredded the sheet, tears sliding down, mouth working soundlessly. The hate in his dying eyes was delicious. I smiled wider. Your parents are gone, Nina is your sole legal heir. Everything you boasted about ends up in my hands. He died with his eyes still open. The sky that afternoon was postcard blue, clouds drifting like brushstrokes. I walked out of the hospital breathing air that tasted like champagne. Epilogue, Ethan year later. Valentine's Day, February 14th. Ethan picked me up after work and we hit a hot pot place. Snow fluttered down as we left the mall, soft and cinematic. He looped his white scarf around my neck, grinning. Too full, walk it off. Sure. The sidewalks were plush with untouched snow. Couples everywhere, laughing, linked fingers. Vendors waved single-wrapped roses at passers-by. $15 for the lady, buddy, cheap. I started to correct one of them, we're not, but Ethan already had his phone out. He paid and handed me the flower. We kept walking in silence, something electric crackling between us. At the crosswalk a bakery speaker blared Jean Lianning's Finally I Found You. When the chorus hit, Finally I Found You, lucky I never gave up, everyone paired off, starry-eyed. Our free hands brushed once, twice, each touch a lightning bolt. My cheeks burned, I stared straight ahead, afraid to look at him. The light turned green. I stepped off the curb. E.T. Han stayed behind. Luna. I turned. Snow whirled around him as he pulled a faded pink bow clip from his coat pocket and held it out on his palm. I bought this for you 15 years ago. Voice soft and steady, give me the chance to clip it in myself, this time I mean it. Snowflakes clung to his hair, his smile was all certainty. Okay, I said. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, hit like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.